Solo anxiety is something everyone in Tarkov suffers from when they first start playing. Eventually some of those players grow out of it to become a Giga Chad, running around the map, striking fear into the hearts of Timmies, while others get stuck and let the solo anxiety hold them down, never allowing them to blossom into their full potential. Whatever the case may be for you, solo anxiety is something that will absolutely impede your progress, enjoyment, and overall skill level and escape from Tarkov. So, strap in and let's get you out of that fear of running as a solo. In order to get rid of your solo anxiety, you have to first address the issues that are causing it to begin with. Everyone has different reasons for being afraid of running a solo in this game, because it can be extremely punishing and frustrating if you are dying a lot. But for most players, it comes down to three main reasons that cause most players to have solo queuing fear. Those three main reasons are gear fear, inexperience, and relying on your teammates too much. Before we talk about gear fear, don't forget to drop a like if you're enjoying the video and to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It really helps the channel out and I'm grateful to have everyone join the community. Alright, now back to gear fear. If you don't know what gear fear is, it is basically the fear of losing all the gear that you have in your stash. Because of this, it can cause a lot of people to not want to use their good gear and let it rot away in their stash until the game wipes. This is especially bad for solos because they don't have the option of having a teammate bring out your gear or toss it to get it back from insurance. As a solo, this can create a lot more anxiety knowing that if you do end up dying, you will in most cases lose that kit. If this is your issue and what is holding you back from going into a raid solo, then there are a couple solutions that you will need to do in order to overcome your gear fear. The first step is to understand and learn how to make money in this game. As soon as you can make money in this game, then the game opens you up to having unlimited loot. There are tons of different videos out there teaching you how to make money, so just find one that works for you and run with it. I made a video about the basics of money making not too long ago. If you're interested in checking that out, I will drop a link for it down in the description. The next step to getting over your gear fear is understanding how valuable the gear you're afraid of losing actually is. Even if you have the best gear in the game, being something like a slick and an Alton and having a meta gun, that doesn't make you invincible, and you can still die really easily. So don't think that having this gear makes you a better player, because you can still lose a gunfight if you don't play it right. As soon as you realize this, you will ultimately realize that it goes both ways. Just as you can die with the best gear in the game, that means that you can also easily kill others that are wearing that gear as well. Tarkov is all about ups and downs, and sometimes you win and sometimes you lose. So as soon as you start to understand and realize how easy it is to get that gear back, you will be well on your way to getting over your gear fear. If you want more information about gear fear and how to get rid of it, then check out my other video I made not too long ago about getting over your gear fear. Link will also be down in the description. If you don't have any gear fear and that's not what's holding you back from going in as a solo, then maybe you're just inexperienced or new to Tarkov. Tarkov is probably one of the most difficult games to learn because without guides on YouTube or looking at the wiki, there is no roadmap for you to learn. The only way that you learn in this game is to just go into a raid blind and go through the experience on your own. Unfortunately, that really is the only way to get over going in solo on this game. You will die a lot in this game. I mean a lot. Even I, who has 2,000 plus hours in this game, still get a little anxious whenever I'm queuing into a raid solo, especially on maps that I'm not too comfortable with. So the best way to get over being afraid is to just keep getting back in there and learning how to play and survive successfully as a solo. Experience isn't something that can be taught overnight, and it's going to take some time before you start finally feel better about going in on your own. But I do have some advice to help you along your way in gaining some knowledge and experience in this game. First piece of advice that I can give that might help you feel a little less nervous is to stick to one map and learn it. Learn all the hotspots, where scavs spawn, where players spawn, the extracts, and which routes are most likely to have PMCs maneuvering and which ones aren't. Use the wiki, scav on that map if you have to, and even run offline modes just to get the feel of the map and go from there. Knowing a map can release so much stress and anxiety from a lot of players, and it can make it a lot easier to branch out and learn more after some time. Using your scav on the map you're trying to learn is a great thing to do because you might run into PMCs. It can give you a good indicator of where those players are going and where they came from, teaching you the high traffic areas and so on. Another big piece of advice that I can give to those who are afraid of going in solo is to just have a plan or idea of what you're trying to do before going into that raid. What I mean by this is you should know what your goals are for that raid before going in. Are you going to just try and make some money, maybe do some quests, or get into fights with players? Whatever it is you want to do, make sure you think about it before going in and make sure you absolutely stick to that plan. One of the best things that's helped me get over my solo fear was questing. Having some type of objective before going into a raid and having to work your way through the map is extremely important. It will force you to get out of your comfort zone and give you something to focus on while you're in a raid, so you aren't constantly worrying about where other players are and trying to survive. Even if you died 10 times trying to do one quest, those 10 raids that you died are all going to help you learn the map and get better over time. So don't get discouraged while you're trying to do your quests, because they are an extremely powerful tool to help you overcome your solo anxiety. Just focus on the mission, stick to it, and eventually the fear of running solo will go away. The last and final most common reason that you're having solo anxiety is that you're relying on your teammates too much. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that going in solo is the best way to learn, because there are a ton of benefits of squatting up and getting into a raid with a couple of your buddies. But sometimes, some of you are just letting your teammates do all the work and you aren't gaining any experience from doing that. How many times have you seen a squad run around and you notice that one player seems to be leading the squad while the rest are following? That happens more often than not, and that is a big issue whenever you're trying to learn the game. Just following someone around is okay for learning the map and to get the hang of things, but there comes to a point where you should be able to branch off on your own and think for yourself. If you're playing with someone and need help questing or something like that, then sure, yeah, that's okay. But later on in the wipe, if you are with another teammate and you're trying to play just to make money or go for PvP, then you should be able to hold your own without having to follow directions from another player. Having a teammate can be a great thing, but it can also be a crutch, and it can be holding you back from wanting to go into a raid solo. For example, if your friend can't play one day, does that mean you shouldn't play just because you don't have someone else's guidance? No, absolutely not. You should be able to go into a raid and hold your own, or at least be able to think for yourself and not have your teammate always being the one to lead the charge. You should be able to go into a raid and hold your own, or at least be able to think for yourself and make decisions on your own. So if you are playing with a teammate most of the time, but you still want to get better as a whole in Tarkov, then I suggest trying to switch roles and try to mix it up how you play as a duo or a squad. What I mean by that is, if you are usually more passive in the squad and just follow your Chad friend around and wait for him to kill everything and you just pick up the scraps, then maybe ask him to take a back seat every once in a while and let you lead. Ideally, you want to be a part of a team that's 50-50 when it comes to fighting and looting. But that's not always the case when it comes to this game. It is important to get into these fights for yourself and learn how to control recoil, push players, back off and retreat when you need to, and so on. All these things can't be learned from watching a video. You have to go in and get a feel for yourself, and if your squad mate is the one getting all that experience and you are just sitting on the back burner, then it isn't helping you get any better. And it's actually making you have more anxiety if you ever have to go into a raid as a solo. Another thing that you can try to do if you're playing with a squad is to split up in a raid. You don't always have to be together when you go in as a squad. You can spread out and do your own thing. This is ideal for you if you want to try and get over your solo anxiety, because you would basically be on your own, but if you die, then you still have a backup teammate who could come by and potentially get your loot back for you. This technique is great if you're trying to get over your solo anxiety, because you're getting more used to a solo environment and allowing you to be more comfortable maneuvering on your own. This can be great for a lot of players because they gain that confidence in a raid, knowing that they can hold their own by themselves and they don't have to rely on their teammate to cover them. If you're getting too used to playing with a crutch like having a teammate, then you will inevitably rely on them more than you realize. Always having someone to come save the day or be the one to get you through a raid is only going to limit how much experience you are actually getting per raid. Relying on your teammate can actually cause you a lot more anxiety if you ever do want to go into a raid solo, because you won't know what to do in different situations if your teammate is always the one calling the shots. Even if you make the wrong choice and you die, then eventually you will learn from it and get better over time. So the best advice that I can give is to branch off on your own when you're playing with a group until you feel more comfortable getting around the map and getting into different gunfights and situations on your own. Then hopefully you can transfer that over to playing as a solo whenever your teammates can't get on. But to sum everything up, you need to identify what is causing you that anxiety to begin with. Whether that be gear fear, inexperience, or being too reliant on your team to come to the rescue. Then try and implement ways to slowly gain experiences on your own that will help nullify these fears. Making money, playing more, getting out of your comfort zone, whatever you need to do, do it. Being able to get over your solo anxiety is all about gaining confidence that you can hold your own when you need to. Whatever the case may be for you, I'm sure that there's a solution. So if I didn't cover what is causing you so much anxiety as a solo player in this video, be sure to leave a comment down below and I will try to respond with a solution for you. Just remember that if you are playing solo, you oftentimes have a bigger advantage than you realize. So have some confidence in yourself and get into those raids and get better. But that is all I have for you guys in today's video. So don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, because we're still pushing ahead with our goal of hitting 1,000 subscribers, and we're getting closer and closer every single week. So thank you all again for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.